Welcome to Creating Success in the Mess, where we talk about just that, creating success in the mess of this thing we call life.
We're your hosts, Corey and Whitney, a husband and wife team that does life and business together.
In this podcast, we share our struggles and funny moments as we have journeyed growing our family, our faith, and businesses.
We share inspiration, motivation, and practical tips and tricks to help you build yourself and a life you love.
We invite you to join us every week on the podcast, and we can't wait to create success in the mess together.
Hey, and welcome to today's podcast. We're so happy that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about owning yourself. Have you ever felt like maybe you're the only one that could understand something, that what you're going through was very unique to you? And whenever you ask somebody about it, they just kind of give you this advice and you're just like, blah, 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 blah. It's like they don't even understand you. If that's how you've ever felt, then keep on listening because you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about how sometimes you have to just own your crap. And it's okay to talk to other people about it, but don't always rely on what people's advice are when you're owning your own stuff, because there's a process and a movement when you're going through this.
Yeah, so for me, this happens frequently. And I mean, it's happened with my mom. I mean, it's happened when I talk to you. It's happened when I talk to friends. It's happened sometimes it just doesn't matter who I'm talking to. I will come from a place of basically calling out my own shit.
Yeah. And I'm the worst. Sometimes I'm the worst person that you could probably come and tell this to, because as your husband, like most husbands, we're like, okay, my wife is needing me to fix the situation. I'm Mr. Fix It, right? And sometimes it's actually not even what you're wanting.
No, most of the time it's not what I'm wanting.
Wait, what are you wanting? We're all kind of curious, us husbands.
Most of the time, well, I don't know. I can only speak for me and from my point of view.
Look at you, sticking to the topic.
For me, I consider myself fairly self-aware. I do have a degree in counseling, and I do submerge myself in the self-help, the self-aware type of content. That's if I'm doing anything on a leisure time outside of being outdoors or baking sourdough or whatever random thing that I happen to be into at the time, painting, all that stuff. I am scrolling, watching a bunch of self-help videos or inspirational type of things. You're the one sitting over there laughing at all the comedy stuff, and
or I'm just learning information.
Yeah. And I am definitely into health and self-aware type of practices. And so for me, I can recognize, and I do actively do a whole, I pay even for a mentor and a coach that keeps me in my mindset growing and uncovering things, because newsflash, I do own businesses, and the fastest, quickest way I have ever grown those businesses is by working on me, not any technical thing that has to do with the business. Mm-hmm. Regardless. Yeah. Anyway, I do a lot of that. And so I am actively revisiting old patterns and old ways and old things and current ways, and it's figuring out some of the stuff is just pure crap, and honestly what holds me back. Okay, just the other day, I am a creative artist. That's what I was born to be. I was created to be a creative artist. But somewhere along the way, it was taught and instilled that is a hobby. And in fact, I actually heard the words multiple times that I didn't get that gene, that skipped me. And success comes from a professional career or a professional job. And art is just a hobby. Mm-hmm. And so I have an art business. I've had 2 art businesses, and I've actually made money off of them. I actually have had success with them, but then I find it gets to a certain point and I'm like, oh, nope, I really have to really focus over here on business consultations and website design and what would be considered to be more professional.
Right.
So the other day, I don't even know where you were. I was just like, Corey. And you were like, what? And I was like, come here. I just figured something out, I think. And then I was like, every time you say, well, just start painting again then. If that's what's going to make you happy, if that's what you actually want to do, then just go full-fledged into one of those businesses and make it be. Make it make money. Make it do its thing. Like,
yeah, you've done it before.
Yeah, just go paint. And every time you say that, and my unconscious thought that immediately comes is, well, that's not really a true business that you can be successful at and make money. We've had these conversations for a while now, because I have just kind of laid low and not really done any of the art, because I was resituating back over to like what I thought and what I was taught was success.
Well, and so this is a really deep problem. So like we live with things, either coping mechanisms, things that we've done in our childhood to kind of like keep us safe at some point, to either not feel something or to just maybe feel something. And essentially you have made money selling your artwork, teaching art, and also custom commission work with art. So you've actually made a full-time income and better.
Yeah.
Living proof. Literally drive a vehicle. I'm wearing clothes right now because of these things you've done. And you've done it in 3 different ways.
Yeah. They literally paid our bills.
But yet there is still this creeping like thing that's inside of us that still says you're not enough.
I had no idea. For the longest time, I had no idea. I would just all of a sudden just like get, one of our art businesses did 6 figures. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, well, I need to like really like harness this one. And I really need to grow and do this one. Just out of nowhere. And all that was like my ego essentially popping up and starting to sabotage from that unconscious like thing that was instilled in me, that for whatever reason believed that even though I was making money, or that I felt like I was, doing what it was that I wanted to do, or that I was created to do, or born to do, or give the gift I was given, or whatever, I was not doing something right, because success comes from a professional career, and professional careers are in offices, or like with college degrees, or like
titles.
I got the college degree. I did all of that, and it just, every time I force myself back over there, it is so miserable. It's like the inside of me is screaming to go back and just live authentically. Anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh, every time you say this, my thought after is, yeah, but that's not successful and you can't make money. And I said, why would I think that? Because we do make money. We do make money off of that. Not even just one creative art business. We have 2 of them. We've made money off of 2 different types. Canvas painting, like, everything you named. They were all creative art businesses. So why is my brain still thinking that's not success and you can't make money at that? And then, like, I uncovered through, like, that recognizing. It first came from me recognizing that thought, and then, like, really analyzing and be like, well, that is really interesting. Why in the world is this keep coming up? And then I act on it. It's not even just, like, a thought that comes up. And so, like, we're sitting there having this conversation, and in the middle of me telling you this, you tell me, well, just go over there and paint the canvas. Like, just go start painting canvas. Just go start painting. And I was like, I got really frustrated. And I was like, you know what? Just never mind. You just don't understand. Just never mind. You don't understand what I'm saying.
Every husband's like, yeah, I've heard that before.
And so, like, at that point, I was, like, in a state of, like, self-reflection and self-aware, and I was calling myself out on these stupid patterns and these unhealthy ways and these stupid thoughts and all of these, like, things. And I really was talking them through with you and really just trying to own it to like, process how I'm going to fix this.
Yeah, you're really processing out loud.
Yeah.
Just needing an individual to listen.
Right. And it was uncomfortable for you.
I know that now.
Like, you wanted to start giving me a pep talk on, like, how I'm an artist and how I've, like, sold all these things and how I have made money doing this and, like, just go paint the canvas, like, giving me solutions to fix the problem. You were giving me this pep talk and this, problem-solving thing, and it was making me feel really super frustrated.
Right.
Because
because I was coaching, and at the moment, you didn't need a coach.
No.
You needed a mentor.
I just needed somebody to, like, walk through this with me, because I was still gathering my head around this, like, you know, what I tell you, it was like a pot of like boiling water or something. There was these slimy frogs in it, and I just needed to get the frogs out. that was like the analogy I used. I don't even know, and you were just basically telling me, well, just put the lid on the pot and go over there and paint the canvas. Like, you've already done this before. Why do we need to like go through this? You know, you're a great artist. You know, you can paint these canvases. No. And I was like, no. I really need to like own my shit here, my bad thinking and my theology, and I really need to process like, where did it come from? Yeah. And why am I thinking this? So that I can get it fixed. Right. And like just putting the lid on the pot. I'm not sitting here looking for a pep talk at all. But that was what you had to give in that moment. I was like real deep and in this self-aware, self-reflection mode. And what you had to give from your place and your point of how you deal with things or how you process or how, you know, you want me to feel was that pep talk thing. You weren't in a place where you wanted to really call out my shit. Like, you really just wanted to pep talk me to get me on down the road. And what happened was you were really trying to help, and you were coming from a place where you were available and where you were processing at. That's the place you were self-aware at. And where I was coming from was a place of in the boxing ring, really. Right.
Well, I wasn't helping you discover a strategy to uncover where is this coming from. I didn't question. I just gave you statements. I just gave you pep talk. I gave you positive statements to get you out of a low into a high. Yeah. But you were in a moment of needing someone to listen to you, so you also needed someone to provide you with a question to get you to think and try to discover and become a little bit more self-aware.
Right. And there are some people out there, if I had come to you and I did say, I'm not needing you to give me a pep talk or solve a solution.
Like, oh, you did say that?
Yeah.
Well, news to me.
At that point, you really just
You probably did say it. I probably just don't remember.
Yeah, I did say it, and you really just started like shaking your head. So then that means at that point you stopped listening. No, no, actually, like I did say that, and then you understood what I was needing at that point. But like you clearly understand like all of this mindset, self-aware stuff. So like if I tell you I don't need you to fix this, and I'm not looking for you to give me a pep talk, you understand what I mean. Whereas there are some people in this world that do not get that because, like, it is not something that they do. It's not something, it is uncomfortable or unsafe for them to, like, pull out and analyze their thought patterns or their beliefs, their core beliefs, because that's really what it is. That was a core belief that I didn't even know that I was carrying or that I had until I noticed the thought and then really dug it out. Right. And that happens to us so much. But sometimes people aren't interested or aren't at a place in their life where they're going to do the self-aware, and it just isn't safe, or it just isn't comfortable for them to own and assess and dig out some of that.
Well, I think some of us, like personally for me, I really wasn't exactly taught feelings as a kid growing up. I was just like, I kind of just felt like you had to achieve, make things happen, and just move on. And so sometimes it's kind of difficult for me to actually kind of dig down and be like, why am I not being successful? Or why am I not able to actually overcome a certain thing? It's kind of hard to uncover your stuff when you have a locked down floor gate that's just like not allowing yourself to even get to that point.
Right. And so that at that place, you have to know that they can only offer you what it is that they have to offer. Like, you know, if the lid on the jar is here, they can't jump out of the jar and give you more. Like, they can only give you from their place of recognition and understanding. And sometimes, like, if we're not at that, if we're, you know, outside of the jar lid, and they can't come outside of the jar lid to meet you in the place where you are, or understand that it's okay sometimes to call your shit out. It's okay sometimes to say, man, I am sucking at this, and I don't know why, but I really am going to do the work and figure it out. And that's okay, and that's good. But some people just aren't there. And so they can only come to you from that place. And then that sometimes when we're looking for that from people that can't come out of that lid, that jar, it feels yucky to us. Like, we start feeling like kind of ashamed that we even called our crap out. Like, yeah, they were right. Like, I should be grateful. Yeah, like, my life isn't that bad after all, I guess. Like, I don't know. I guess, like, maybe I am complaining too much, or maybe I am being too negative.
Well, I think it can be kind of confusing because when you hear someone say, like, oh, you can't make money or make a career out of selling artwork, and then on the other end, I'm over here looking like, well, you've done it before, so why are you even talking that way? Because it's almost like assuming that, well, since you've overcome it once, it's like you never have to deal with it again. And you can definitely see in the situation, that's not the case. You can be on a high of doing artwork and making a living doing it, and then going back into a place where you start believing that you actually can't.
Right.
And so it really does go back and forth. It's up and it's down. And I think for some people, their perspective is like, well, once you overcome something, whether it's like alcoholism, like you never go back to it. And it's actually just not the case. Like, it's almost like relapse.
Right.
Is that how it feels to you? Like almost in a way, like you almost like relapse into a negative way of thinking towards it?
I mean, obviously that is the pattern that I was in. I would be doing it and I would get so miserable, and then I would just go align with what I really wanted to do. And of course I had success because that's what I was created to do.
When was the last time you had success? Like you felt like your artwork was successful and you were making a living doing it?
I don't know that I ever have actually felt like I was successful.
So you just made it look like it?
I don't think I internally ever believed that, but from the exterior, people looked at me and thought that I had success. I had a 6-figure business. Like, I had multiple...
You did it in more than one way. So, I mean, yeah, from my perspective, I always thought, like, how could she not believe she's done it in more than one way?
Exactly.
You have, like, literally revenue streams of selling art.
Internally, inside of me, the external, everyone around me was like, man, you are a successful artist. But inside of me, I never actually once believed that, ever.
So the person who you have essentially become on an outward, like, expression, the human body that is just walking around this earth right now, that's just expressing herself with creativity and art and making a living doing it, is not sufficient to the inner girl that's inside of you. It's that inner child girl that is still in there just saying, like, you can't make money.
That's not success.
It's just a hobby.
It's just
that's
a hobby.
really
Is that not crazy?
It's kind of creepy.
That's why I was saying, Corey, where are you? Come here. And you're just now getting this?
Yeah.
No, that's what I had success. And everyone looked at me and was like, wow, like if I could do that. And inside of me, there was this quiet voice that I didn't even actually was in there saying this. Mm-hmm. I didn't know she was in there saying, this is just a hobby. This isn't actually success. Success is a professional job. You know, the one over there where you build people's websites and do their SEO? That's what success is. I think you should stop playing around here in the paint making a mess, and you should probably go over there. There's bigger money to be had over there in that professional one.
Yeah. And
so then I would start unknowingly that was going on inside of my brain.
There was a time where we had done like a training. It was like big ticket like offers or something like that. Mm-hmm. And because we were selling things and like offering services of all these different like price points and whatnot. And I can remember, like, we started thinking, like, big ticket offers. Like, well, I mean, we could totally build websites. That's a big ticket offer. Like, where we could teach, like, a marketing plan. Like, all these things or whatever. And I kind of wonder if maybe that's kind of, like, it could have got us off a little bit. When in reality, what actually occurred once we got a mentor and we really started looking at abundant mindset, that's really when our big ticket offers came, because our big ticket offers didn't come in something different that we were doing.
No.
It came in just raising our price and our worth for the artwork that we already were doing.
Mm-hmm, that's exactly right. Yeah, we thought we needed to do, like, capitalize on something that somebody would pay more for, when in reality, our big ticket offer came when we owned our self-worth and we, like, we dealt with money mindset issues that we didn't.
Gosh. We still do.
Yeah, that we didn't even know was there. And then,
I think for somebody, I think those offers are great. I mean, if someone wants to teach a marketing course or build a website and you have a high worth and you have a high price, I think it's great. But for us and what is true to us and our unique selves, we were trying to put ourselves in a suit and a tie and a skirt to
Yeah.
seem professional enough to be paid worthy enough. And it was like,
Yeah,
we're messy freaking people. I want to wear sweatpants.
Yeah.
I want to wear tennis shoes that have paint on them. I really don't want to wear nice dress shoes that are uncomfortable. That's not who I am. And if I'm doing something that's not who I am, how the heck am I going to be a high success in that?
Right, we weren't.
And if
we were miserable.
And even if I was a high success and I made good money, would I not? I would be miserable.
Yeah.
Why? What's the point? I'd rather be poor and be happy than the other way around.
And, you know, the hard thing about it is, like, that is what we were taught as defined as success. And so that's where we keep trying to go rather than owning our true self. And we are capable of doing that. We can build websites. We can teach you how to SEO. We know all of those things. We built a business off of that, doing that for people.
And if somebody asked us, we would tell them how, and we would tell them how we did it in our messy way.
We do. We get on mentor and coaching calls all the time, one-on-one with people, and we tell them how to the next best actionable steps for their podcast, the next way to create their website, the next step to fix their SEO, their whatever. We do that all the time, but doing it with and alongside someone in their creative way that works best for them is so much more like who we are as creatives that have built success, opposed to what we had defined as success and just do it for them like an agency. And, you know, where you wear your suit and tie and you're the expert of all knowledge. And we found that it was in the personal relationships and the creative like approach per each individual person, and that not only like that, but helping the people that we mentor and we coach one-on-one overcome these stupid trains of thoughts that they aren't even necessarily sure what the heck is going on. It's just like a wall there and a block there, because that's what we've had to do to get success.
When you hit a traffic jam and you cannot take this route, what do? You find an alternate route.
Right. So, long story short, that was our revelation. That was my revelation from the week, where I really fully recognize that sometimes we look for things from people. We have to remember that some people can only give us what they can give us from the place that they are at in that moment. And that's where they're at. And so, like, if we, you know, like when I was having this, you know, revelation, it was totally okay. It was totally acceptable, and it was totally fine that I was like, whoa. And I was really like calling out some bad thought patterns and behaviors and whatever in myself. And then I was talking it through with somebody. All of that was totally okay. Yeah. And I didn't actually need to put all of that aside and be thankful or grateful or positive instead of negative, or, you know, just go do it or any of that. I really actually could sit in that for a minute and really figure that out, and then proceed forward in fixing that. So I could have got all, you know, offended and feel yucky about I shoulda, coulda, woulda whenever you approached me back with your solutions or your perception of
because I had learned in that moment that, you know, not every situation is coachable.
Right.
You know, every person is coachable, but the situation or uniqueness and what they're in at that moment, situation doesn't call for coaching.
No.
It calls for listening.
It's self-discovery.
You were essentially coaching yourself. Like, you were digging a little bit more and understanding and processing a little bit more. So there was no strategies needed. There were no structures needed. There was no need for a coach. There was just the need of a person to kind of come alongside you as you went through this stuff. Right. So that you knew that I'm digging some really kind of dark and deep things out of here. And if I wasn't doing it by myself, then I could do this.
Right.
And so if you can just walk beside me, and I think it was just, I mean, the fact that you, at some point you did get to a point and said, look, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I'm wanting to explain to you something I'm really kind of dealing with. And I think sometimes it does help the other person.
Yeah, absolutely. And that helped me tremendously in my self-aware process there, that actually ultimately led to like complete self-growth.
Right.
And self-discovery for me. And hopefully, knowing this now, I understand where it came from, why it came, and what happens when it comes. Like, what do I do? When it comes, what do I do? And so now I have an action plan in place to proceed forward. And so next time it shows up, because in reality, it's that voice is probably going to come back again.
Yeah.
And when it shows up next time, then I'm going to be able to say, no. Like, this is success. I am successful. I am doing a great job. This is me. This is completely me and the messy me, and this is the messy, successful me. And that is fine because that's who I was created to be. So if you resonate with any of my like self-discovery, self-aware story today, then I want to encourage you to keep digging and keep going and keep learning and keep growing and keep making changes and keep doing better next time so that you can actually create the success in your mess.
Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead because we want to invite you to go along our journey with us. Continue learning more about yourself as we learn about ourselves and helping each other out.
And lastly, if you have no one that walks alongside you and allows you to self-discover or be self-aware or really dig into or really like hold you accountable for not letting these belief systems that you have developed or you don't even know that is there, that is blocking you to, get out of the way so that you can take the next actionable step along your success path, then please reach out to us because we do mentor one-on-one all the time so that you have somebody that you can like self-grow and become self-aware and build the successful life that like you were meant to be. Thank you so much for listening. We know that we all get busy trying to do life, and our hope is that we can find ways to implement time and space to create a life we love living every day on our terms, right in the middle of all the messes of life.
We hope that you've been inspired and our conversation has helped you in some way, and it would be so amazing if you share this conversation with somebody that you think would really benefit from hearing it. You can text someone the link, or you can share it via email or on your social media pages. And please, we would love for you to leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on because it helps us so much. The more reviews we have, the more people that will find our show, and our ultimate goal is for everyone to feel inspired, to find ways to create their own success right in the middle of all the mess. And no, they are not alone in doing so.
And finally, we'd love for you to join our weekly email list so that we can connect on a deeper level and you can always be in the know of our new release events and opportunities.